So if I'm an NFL football player and I grab a football and I start throwing it like this, compared to this, where's the speed? More for my arm from being where? Down or more up?
Up.
Okay, so that's one factor, okay, the arm, meaning arms tucked like Hogan or it's up like Sam Snead. That's what I always debated between, do I want control or do I want speed?
Okay.
I wanted both, okay? So that's just one factor, okay? Number two, if I turn here, I can't do what? Dig in the ground, why? Because I'll come over the top. No turn equals what? Bump equals no turn equals over the top. So what do I do to get inside? Slide. So once we start sliding, it's like trying to jump from here. How much jump do I have? Nothing. If you said get down and actually jump, I have speed from the ground. But if I have speed from the ground without a turn, what do I got? Over the top. Now I'm swiping the ball. So I try and get it inside to hit it straight. But what have I done by doing that? Losing speed. I'm also standing up, which means more what? Loft, okay?
It's like you lose all your kinetic energy.
I lose all my kinetic energy. And when we talk about kinetic energy, and we're talking about force, force is applied when we push pressure down from knee flexion, hip, and spine. Not just knee, but knee, hip, and spine. And it just so happens if I turn all the way back, where's my shoulder when I go into hip flexion? It happens to be right directly where? Under me. If I never turned it all and you said, get your left shoulder down, where's my head going? Forward. So as I turn back, boom, that's knee, hip, spine flexion. That shoulder's a huge power package of going, got that?
Yeah.
So that's just a vertical force. Now torque is, I get most adults go, I got this hip flexion now. And they're like this, right? And they're not turning at all, so they're blocked out, right?
Yeah.
So rotation, when you lift my arm, come on over, John. Go to the top for me, please. As you watch his left arm as he starts to open up in the downswing, see that smash? Keep opening, sorry. Boom, that's a trampoline off his chest. So when you get man strength and you're like, I'm gonna hammer it,
right?
That's no speed. When the kids hit up here and they have, this is adduction. See this adduction? This is abduction, away from me. If I have no adduction across the chest, I have no smash in the chest. So either I create it back here or I have none of it and I create it in the downswing, which means slowing the arms down. But if I actually torque or open up, what happens? It happens by itself. It starts to sling into my body. Okay?
Yeah.
So if I'm rotating, what if I never rotate and I just do a vertical? Is there any smash? No, I have to create smash with rotation.
Okay.
So the fact is now we've got two things. We've got what? The vertical, but we also have the torque.
Okay.
And now we have parameters, okay? So I'm gonna have vertical and torque, but where's my hip? Way outside my foot line. So I want to keep that inside foot line as I do that. That's within parameters. So what is first? Vertical.
Okay.
Torque, which means I'm just torquing my foot, which is creating turn.
Which I have 0 in.
And within parameters, meaning, okay, George goes, hey, I've got torque, I'm over here, there's no speed in that, right?
Right.
So staying everything under you as you do that creates this perfect pressure with the ground that creates that speed, okay? So now you've got big turn, and the turn could be in flexion. Knees, flex, hips, and spine, that's flexion, right?
Yeah.
Or I could have an extension of everything, like Jamie Zubiak, okay?
Okay.
But now I've lost ground pressure to use torque, okay? I would just have a vertical, okay? I want them all. So I want to extend this, keep this flexed, extend this with left bend. That creates a feel of I can use the ground really nicely, okay? So when I use that, I have this arm extended. Now, as I use all three of those, what? The torque, the vertical, and within parameters, that arm does what? Slingshots by itself.
Right.
And then from there, boom, I go back in extension, and that's where the speed comes from. So people start trying to go, or they lift weights, all they're doing is getting tighter, stronger, and using their arms more, okay? That's why you see these little kids who, like Akshay, who weighs 130 pounds, swinging 130 miles an hour.
If that.
Because he's doing this big, bam, okay, so he's using the ground.
Yeah.
It's like another thing, if I have vertical forces but I don't use it, that's exactly like me doing a jump with never jumping, okay?
Yeah.
So I need to actually get down and jump, but I have to jump with turn in order to have good contact. So I can still get speed, but bad contact. If I just get in and out, I gotta get in and out and turn, because that's gonna create the D-loft. Now D-loft comes from where? Club face. So
Right.
like I said, the example, I could have a 100-mile-an-hour swing, adding a lot of loft, and I have no distance. I can have very little speed, like 80 miles an hour speed, and have a D-loft like DJ, and I'm gonna hit the ball 40 yards further than that guy with 100-mile-an-hour speed. So speed isn't everything. It's speed and optimal numbers on a TrackMan or flight scope or whatever kind of device you use to create that D-loft. And that D-loft comes from phase and rotation. And once you've rotated, you can also have some punch. A punch, let me have your club, please. So if I just have a D-loft and a turn, that's okay. But when I punch, that means that I've D-lofted it where? More. See that right there?
Yeah.
That's getting more D-loft. And so all those things will contribute to speed and distance, not just speed.
Okay.